Hello, welcome to episode 1 of IC Presents INNO-VISION. This podcast aims to provide awareness and guidance to young minds who are interested in this very field of starting up their own businesses. You can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, and watch it on YouTube. This podcast is sponsored by Durga Creations. The Innovation and Entrepreneurship Cell is a student body certified by Ministry of Education, Government of India, and aims to inculcate an entrepreneurial and innovative environment in the institute. I, Siddhi Jain from IEC, am extremely delighted to open our podcast series. Moving further, let's welcome our guest for the day, Mr. Devang Raja.
Hello.
With more than 19 years of experience in the field of financial service industry, Devang Raja is a founder of Venture Wolf, a renowned speaker and a startup jury panel member at Hult Prize Million Minds, ambassador of India Global, and a mentor at EduWings Udaipur. He sits on the investor panel at various startup events across the India and mentors various startups their journey with his vision of taking startups from idea to IPO. Devang has first-hand experience of being an entrepreneur himself and is well-versed with the challenges of an entrepreneur journey. It's a great pleasure to have you here, sir.
My pleasure as well. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you, sir. We look forward to seek your guidance. So let's get into it.
Sure.
So my first question would be, what made you become an entrepreneur? And did you think of this when you were pursuing your education?
To be really honest, I never thought I would land up in entrepreneurship. So while I was in college, I was just a small, simple, middle-benched student who used to go to college, finish off with the studies, go back home, and then probably didn't know what to do in my life, right? But yeah, over a period of time, I think the life takes you where it wants you to go, right? And then that's how the journey was with me. I did my BMS, I did my MBA, I did my CFP and FA. Post that, I worked with corporates for around about 12, 13 odd years. And then one fine day I said, I don't want to do a job anymore. And that's how I left the job. And that's how my entrepreneur journey started. Just to answer your question in a little more detail, right? So what made me get into entrepreneurship? What made me get into startups? Okay. So one fine day, while I was working in corporate, I returned back home on a Saturday. Okay. Rather late night, I would say early morning, right? After a party. And I saw the guys in my gated society washing cars. And I said, how many cars? And I called that guy over to me and I asked him, how many cars do you wash? He said, 500 cars. I said, fantastic. How much do you charge each car owner? He said, 500 rupees. And being a Gujarati, my mind started calculating things. 2.5 lakh rupiya kama leta. So this guy earns 2,50,000 a month. Okay. How many guys do you have you kept to wash these cars? He said, around 10 guys. How much do you pay them? Around 6 grand, 8 grand kind of a thing. I said, absolutely. And I said, this guy's doing fantastic business. So a guy as small as this can earn in lakhs in 4 to 5 hours. What if we can organize this sector? And that's how it triggered an idea of me organizing an unorganized car cleaning sector. And that's how my entrepreneur journey started. But unfortunately, that startup didn't work for me. But I learned a lot from that startup. But that was the start of my entrepreneurial journey.
Wow. So as we say, we can find our teacher anywhere.
Absolutely.
Your teacher who triggered the entrepreneur within you was that car washing bhai.
Absolutely. So koi sikhaya na sikhaya, we need the ability to learn it from people. Absolutely. And that's what I did.
Yeah. So how was Venture Wolf found? And as you said, what was the inspiration? So I believe the inspiration was the car wala bhaiya.
No, so my entrepreneurial journey started because of that guy. Okay, so my inspiration of being an entrepreneur was him. But for Venture Wolf, it was a little different. So while I was trying to look for investors for my company in car cleaners, okay, a lot of things happened during that phase. And I started talking to a lot of investors. And that's how I started creating investor database as well. And then I started realizing over a period of time, there are a lot of people like me who need this help and support. And a lot of people who don't know how to approach investors, what documents go behind the fundraising and all those things. And that's what the intention was, to help new age entrepreneurs come up with the set of documents or the help or the support, handhold them, guide them, groom them, and then get them to an investable level, and then connect them to the investors. So that's what the intention was when I started Venture Wolf.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Can you please tell us more about Venture Wolf?
Oh, sure, absolutely. So, what do we do at Venture Wolf? We basically work with all stage of companies. Okay, could be a startup or a growth stage company, and we help them in their fundraising. Now, when we say we help them in their fundraising, it all starts from creating all the required documents to hand-holding you, guiding you, grooming you. Recently, what we've done is we've also come up with a list of FAQs for the startups. Okay, what we've realized is a lot of people still don't know how to answer investors' questions, right? And they falter there. They are not while these guys are doing fantastic business, they are still not able to talk to the investors properly in the way it's required to be explained to the investors. And that's where we come up with a list of FAQs as well. That's where we handhold, guide, groom, and then get them onto an investable level. At Venture Wolf, we work with more than 5,000 investors across the globe.
That's incredible.
And again, so our investors could be HNI, private investors, family offices, VC firms, international funds, impact funds as well, right? Corporate houses as well, right? So we work with a large area of investors. Again, our investors could be based anywhere across the globe, right? So that's what we do basically. And as Venture Wolf, we not only help in equity fundraising, but now we also help growth stage companies with their debt. So we also help them with their secure and unsecured debt if any company is looking to raise debt as well. Even for startups, if you are more than 3 years old company or a 3-year-old, more than 3 years into the business, okay, profitable, non-profitable, that's a secondary thing, okay. But if you have been in the industry for last 3 years, we can definitely look at other options how we can help you raise funding. Okay, there are various options. Apart from equity, we also have revenue-based funding, which is an option available. We have debt options as well available. We have venture debt also option available. A lot of options are available. So we look at how we can help you raise funds. That's what our basic aim is, or that's what our basic business is under Venture Wolf.
Yes, that's great, sir. Sir, how is this vision of your vision of idea to IPO? How did you get this vision?
Right. So as Venture Wolf, what we do is while we help you raise funds for your startup, okay, we like to work with a long-term approach with any company that we work with, okay, and we understand you will need our help in raising funds at each and every level. Why? Because you are good at your business, right, and we expect you to be good at your business. We don't expect you to keep running around, right, for fundraising. Once we've joined hands together, leave the rest to us. We'll do that for you, right? So we are there throughout the journey with you. So while we help you raise funds, what we do is out of our success, we reinvest a proportion of that back into your company as well, right? That's how we build our own portfolio as well, right? That's how I make my own investments as well, right? And what I've done in return here is I have joined hands with you throughout life. So while I help you raise funds in this round, now I have become a partner or an investor in your company as well. Why? Because I've given a proportion of my
a lifetime guide plus partner.
Absolutely, right? And that's how we take your journey forward at each and every stage, starting from your pre-seed, pre-series A, series A, B, C, D, whatever, and then finally take you to an IPO, SME IPO if required, or a proper full-fledged IPO. So we give all the required services for IPO and SME IPO as well.
Yeah. So as you said, there are people who don't even know how to speak to investors. So I feel like even we at some point, in our first years of college, even we don't know how to present PPTs. There are juries, there are other exams. So having a guide is really important, and that's how I feel as a venture wolf. It's really important for startups and invest.
That's the gap that we fill in.
Yes, sir.
Right. A lot of startups, a lot of entrepreneurs don't understand the importance of this, right? So while a lot of startups, a lot of entrepreneurs come across us and tell us we want to raise funds, but when we tell them there's a systematic process of raising funds, they back out, right? So nobody wants to go through that rigorous steps or rigorous process that's there in the fundraising.
They always seek for the easy way.
Absolutely.
They're not ready to accept that there's something lacking in us. And that's like universal truth that I am the best.
True, absolutely. And so let me give you an example. One of the startups recently, Shark Tank gives investment in 15 minutes. Why do you take 3 to 6 months to give us investments? That was one of the questions. So these guys think that it's so easy to raise investments by what they see on television today, right? However, that's not the truth. So even on Shark Tank, even if once they commit that they'll give you the money, right, they still do their due diligence, and only if they feel that they want to invest money, then they will do that, right? Again, that 15 minutes is again all edited, so it's not that they only talk to you for 15, they might talk to you for an hour, 2 hour.
2 hours, 3 hours. They themselves said on one of their episodes.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. Nobody gives you hard-earned money by talking to you for 15 minutes.
It's
Nobody.
their money after.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So my next question would be, how is Venture Wolf different from other funding companies? You know,
Right. So again, so as Venture Wolf, we have a dedicated team for all the requirements that are required for a startup, right? So starting from your document creation, we have a dedicated team to help you with your pitch decks, your financial forecast. We again have an in-house registered valuer if required to do your company valuation. Okay. Once this is there, then I personally come into the game where I mentor, handhold you, guide you, groom you. We get you ready with the FAQs that are required for the investors, right? And then put you in front of the investors, right? I don't think any other fundraising platforms give you this kind of support or help to get you ready before you actually hit the floor, right? So again, we see Sachin Tendulkar and Virat Kohli is hitting boundaries and sixers on the field, but they don't know, nobody knows what's gone behind in the nets, right? We get you ready by working with you closely in your nets. That's what Venture Wolf does.
yeah. And like I had this question personally. Suppose I am a company, I've came for your guidance, and I'm on a like I'm at a baby period, you can say.
A very nascent idea at an
Yeah,
ideation
very
stage.
initial period, sir. So now I am not. I don't know how this industry works, so I'll seek guidance in this field as well. Like you'll train me personally, like you'll mold me how to become.
Correct. First of all, see again, if you have an idea, first of all, is that idea, see again, so as Venture Wolf, I also scout through a lot of ideas and a lot of pitch decks, okay? Is it really worthwhile for me to spend my time on that idea? If I really like the idea, I would select you and say, okay, let's work together, okay?
Yeah, that's what the idea. Question
Absolutely,
I had.
absolutely. So then we see as a team that yes, this looks good to us, and then as a team we would want to spend time with you, right? We then onboard you with Venture Wolf. We say, okay, we are ready to help you, okay? These are our services, these are our charges, okay? Would you like to get associated with us, right? That's how it works with us. And then once you say yes, you are ready to work with us, then we join hands, we get our documentation done with you, and then take things forward from there on.
That's good. So like this would help me as a company as well to understand
Absolutely.
if my idea is good enough
Absolutely,
to be
yes.
mentored.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, okay, sir. So my next question, how do you help startups with their fundraising, which you answered, and like what kind of help?
So again, starting with all your document creation, your hand holding, guiding,
Even the document creation.
everything we do that for you. See again, so our thought process is, you are an entrepreneur as a single founder, or probably with one more founder with you, a co-founder, okay? You will not have that time, bandwidth, probably even the skill sets to get into the fundraise, okay? You focus on your core idea, your core competence, building up your business, and leave the rest to us. We are here to help you. That's fundraising is our job. You have outsourced that to us, right? And leave that to us. That's what I would say.
So could you enlighten us on angel investing? Like what is it? How does it work?
Right, true. So a lot of people have this question, okay? Let's first understand thing. What do we mean by the word angel? Bhagwan ka aadmi. ठीक है? So these are the guys who come as angels in your life, okay, and give you the money when you probably don't even have a business model ready with you, right? These are angels. We call them angels. कहीं से तो आए, पैसे देके चले गए, ठीक है? These are high risk takers, let me tell you that, okay? These are the guys who bet on you and your idea or your business, knowing that they will lose money. Again, in inverted commas, know that they will lose money. They are giving this money to you, and it's their hard-earned money. Okay, that's what angel investors are. As a startup, as an entrepreneur, what you need to do is you need to take care of your angel investors. Today, the problem with startups is they are not able to take care of their angel investors. Why?
Not
Because
able to take care as
in terms of returns. So when you raise money, okay, you give me some. See, again, at this point in time, you're selling me your dream. I'm investing in your dream. I don't have anything else to invest on apart from you and your dream, right? But then when I invest in you, I would also be asking questions like, what kind of an exit will you give me? What are the next rounds? At what valuation do you plan? Again, whether you'll be able to raise that round at that valuation is a different thing based on your performance and on the market conditions. Okay, that's a secondary thing. So external factors are always there in any kind of business, right? And angels do understand that. But what happens here is the startups probably promise angels something, okay, which they don't deliver or probably are not able to deliver, and that's where the fix is. So promise what you can deliver. Under promise, over deliver. I always tell this to my startups or entrepreneurs that I work with, because then you make your investors happy rather than over promising and underachieving, which leaves you disappointed and your investors disappointed as well. Yeah.
and like if I'm not growing, then what?
Then what are you doing? If you are not growing, why are you there in business? As humans, as individuals, we need to grow every day. I can't be the same what I was yesterday. I can't, right? And if I'm still the same what I was yesterday, then I am not growing. Then I'm just wasting my time here.
But like I asked in terms of angel investor, does he
Company, if you're not growing, then you need to sit down, you need to go back to your drawing table, you need to figure out what things are working well for you, what's not working well for you. You need to pivot your business over and over again, right? Unless you find the right business model, unless you find the right profitable model, you'll have to do that. Take help if required. A lot of startups don't ask for help. That's where the problem is. Once they've taken money from the investor, see, again, a lot of investors would give you money, not give you help. That's a different thing. But most of the investors would give you help where it's required. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's their money as well. They also want to see their money growing. They don't want to lose money, right? Ask for help. People don't ask for help. That's where the
and
big
that's
problem.
what the main problem of like people right now.
Absolutely. So if you have a problem, talk. Let's talk. Yeah. Most of the problems can be sorted out when you talk to people. Brainstorming is one such exercise. When you sit with your team, your stakeholders, you'll be able to figure out something, if not everything, right?
So let's move on to the next question. What are the challenges you face for startups for their fundraising while they're fundraising?
Plenty of challenges. I think, see, fundraising is not an easy job. Okay. Uh, First of all, you need to understand the process, right? Okay. Explaining this process to an entrepreneur itself, it's a challenge. Okay, because a lot of entrepreneurs think that there's no process to fundraising. Okay, that's the biggest challenge. Once you've explained them the process, training them. Not all entrepreneurs are trainable again. Okay. While we think we would be able to train them, while we would want to work with them, a lot of times entrepreneurs themselves don't want to be trained, right? And then I think one of the biggest challenges is, because we've been in the industry, because we are the champions of fundraising, we can tell you what needs to be done, but at the end of the day, you need to do it, right? Now, there's this term in Gujarati, MBA, Mane Badhu Avde Chhe, okay, where people think they know
That's
everything.
the problem of this generation.
Absolutely.
Not only with entrepreneurs, with everybody in this country.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this MBA Mane Badhu Avde Chhe is a big problem, right? Now, if you know everything, you don't need us. And if you've appointed us as your business consultant, then listen to what we're telling you. Why? Because we are here to help you. We are here to help you raise funds, right? So these are a few challenges that we see while we help startups in their fundraising, basically. And then, of course, once we get them across to the investors, then there are different set of problems, right? So they might not agree to investors. See, again, it's always good to have a good debate, right? A healthy discussion is always good. But then talking to an investor like, you know it all, the investor doesn't know it, and then the investor backs out, and then investors probably don't come back to you and tell you that you've done something wrong, but then the investor will come back and tell us that, Devang, this guy is a crap guy. Yeah, he's a bullshit guy. Yeah. And that kind of thing. And then we have to listen to all the music from the investors again.
And I feel that's not good. on their part, the company's part.
Right. So again, as part, we've understood this. So this is going to be part and parcel of our business, okay, our role that we play here in the ecosystem, which is we are quite okay with that now. So we know how to manage investors, and investors understand that's not our fault. We've told the entrepreneurs what needs to be done, how to talk, what needs to be done, how to put across the data. I've seen entrepreneurs not providing data to investors in time. Now that's the least that can be done, right?
Do
See
you
again,
think that is something kind of problem with the generation right now?
no, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to put a blanket over it. Okay, saying everybody does that. But see again, when an investor asks for something, the company, what we do is we introduce you to the investor. Okay, why? Because the investor is going to bet his money on you and not on me, right? The investors want to talk to you directly. Why? Because they want to understand you as an individual. They know Devang Raja, they know Venture Wolf very well, and that is why they are entertaining their clients. That's why the investors are entertaining my clients, right? Because they know us very well. Now, when we introduce you to the investors, it's an opportunity for you to make a good impression of yourself in front of the investors, right?
That's how you can make contacts for your
Absolutely.
future.
Absolutely. Keep up to those contacts, keep up to the relation, build those relationships. That's where the entrepreneurs fail. We can only teach you till a certain point in time, okay? But after that, you have to deliver, right? Now, as an entrepreneur, if you can't build relations with investors, how do you expect to get money out of investors? And then companies come back to us and tell us what is the guarantee we'll be able to raise funds. So in this industry, let me tell you, there's no guarantee that you'll be able to raise funds, okay? If you have the ability to get money out of the investor's pocket and put it in your pocket by the right means, of course, I'm saying that, okay? By convincing the investor that they should bet their money on you, okay? Then you can raise funds from investors, right? Or else we can keep training you, we can keep telling you, but if you don't do the right things, you won't be able to raise funding. Yeah, and these are the few basic challenges that we come across in day out scenario. Rest, I think a lot of entrepreneurs are still sensible, who understand how fundraising is done. A lot of matured guys who are now coming into fundraising, okay, they understand how it needs to be done, they understand what we want them to do. They come back to us with different set of questions, and we love to work with these kind of entrepreneurs as well, right? I think that's a real fun for me personally, mentoring them, telling them what needs to be done, and I enjoy doing that.
And it's really helpful for them as well to have such a good guide like you.
Thank you.
My next question would be, what is funding winter?
Okay, so there's this term going across in the industry, which is funding winter. Okay, so the funding is drying out over a period of time. The investors are not investing as they used to in earlier years. No. So during pandemic instead, there was a lot of funding that was happening. But now I think, see, so funding winter is the investors are now become very, very shrewd. Okay, or very smart, I would want to say, right? Rather than shrewd, I would want to put it in the words, they become very smart. So earlier, while they were betting on a lot of startups and startups that were burning cash, okay, now the investors have put their foot down and said, we need you guys to make profits. You can't be burning cash throughout your life, right? If you keep burning cash throughout life, when will you turn profitable? When will you deliver value to your investors? You are burning. See again, if I give you a 2000 rupee note and take a 500 rupee note from you, you'll come and do business with me. Why? Because I'm burning cash. Yeah, I'm giving you services worth 2000 rupees and I'm only taking 500 rupees from you. You would love to take my services, but at the end of the day, my company is in loss, right? And I'm not able to deliver the value to my investors then, right? It was all a valuation game. Everybody's understood that now, right? Now all investors want startups to be turning profitable, and that's where this term has come into the industry called funding winter, where investors are not investing in the proportion that these guys were investing in previous years. So that's what the funding winter is.
Okay, and how can we overcome funding winter? How can startups overcome funding winter?
Okay, so I don't think we need to overcome funding winter, but now it's all sensible investments. That is what I would want to say. Okay, so earlier when the investors were investing because of the fear of missing out, okay, FOMO, that's the abbreviated term that's being used in the industry.
Investors also have FOMO.
Oh yes, absolutely. So it's the fear of missing out. So I have a fear, you have invested in one of the companies, you will make money and I will lose out on that. So that's my fear basically, and that's where I also go and invest blindly. Yeah? So that's what the trend was at one point in time. But I think investors are now becoming very, very smart. they are sitting back relaxed on their chair saying, doesn't matter who's investing where, I will invest only where I want to. Okay, and that's where this funding winter has come into play. Again, so having said that, I think in near future I personally see some recession coming in as well. Okay, and it will only become more difficult for startups to crack the deals. Also, if you see the startup funding that has happened in last 6-8 months, or probably since the funding winter has started, okay, nearly 75-80% of the deals have happened only via your connects or references or via an investment banker. Okay, and I see that trend continuing with the investors. Why? Because investors now want to work with known references, with known people, somebody whom they can rely on, rather than going and giving money to an unknown guy, right, where they've burned their money left, right, center earlier.
So those risk-taking tendencies are reducing, you mean to say?
I think it's sensible risk taking now, right? So earlier probably the risk was very high. uh, the investors were betting on high cash burn companies, but now they've understood they are betting on companies who might turn profitable in near future, 5-10 years. They need to see some kind of profitability coming out somewhere in the future, right? So if a company just keeps burning cash over and over again, there's no fun of investing in that company, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Um, my next question would be, what are the key points you look into a company for like a startup to be successful, wherein you would like to invest into?
Plenty of things, plenty of things.
So could you mention some of them?
Sure, absolutely. So first and foremost, I think when we say startup, okay, I think the definition of startup has changed over a period of time now. Okay, so startup is a company started to solve a unique problem. That's how the startups were referred to, or should be referred to. Okay, but today anybody and everybody who starts a business is referred to as a startup.
Yeah, business is something like this problem is existing already, and you are giving your own solution to it, or like a common solution with a different name to it.
No, again, that's where my disconnect is. Okay. So a startup for me is a company started by an individual, probably you, okay, that's solving a unique problem. You need to solve some kind of a unique problem. Okay. Now somebody opening a grocery store and now wants to expand it to 10 grocery stores, okay, is not a startup for me. It's a business, absolutely. Somebody selling shoes and wants to now expand it or do marketing, okay, that's not a startup for me. Yeah, somebody selling kachoris, okay, and now wants to raise money to sell more kachoris is not a startup for me. Okay, so the definition of startup has changed over a period of time, right? For me, you need to have a unique idea. Okay,
Unique and a sensible one.
sensible one, of course, definitely yes. Yeah, so you can't have a non-sensible idea and still be unique. You could be unique, but a non-sensible idea definitely is not an investable one, definitely. But yeah, you need to have a good idea. First thing, apart from the idea, I think it's the team members, their background, a lot of other things go into it. All right, a lot of things go into it. So, do you have any prior experience of being an entrepreneur? What kind of a journey you had in past? Would you be able to crack the idea? How do you want to do it? Your future forecast? Where do you see yourself 3 years, 5 years down the line? Are you giving me sensible answers? How capable is your team of pulling it across? A lot of things go into it, and then finally that X factor matters to me, right? So there needs to be some kind of a spark, and if that
That
spark is
spark,
yeah, and if you
that
can't,
burning fire within you.
absolutely, and if you can't trigger that spark, then there's no fun working with you. Yeah.
Of course, sir. Even I agree to what you are saying. Hmm. So now, as we went through the key points, what are the tactics of getting funding easily?
Again, so there's no shortcut. Don't take any shortcuts in life, including your shortcuts in fundraising. Okay, go through a systematic process. Again, fundraising, you can't use your tactics. You need to be genuine in your fundraising. Okay,
Honesty is the key.
honesty is the key here. Absolutely,
So, but
absolutely.
I feel sometimes being honest is okay, but you have to be smart enough to like play with the situation, handle the situation.
You have to be smart enough, but don't fool others. Being smart is a good thing. Don't get fooled. Don't get fooled by anyone. That is being smart. Okay, for me. Okay, but at the same time, you don't fool others. Yeah,
There's a very thin line between being smart and being cunning. So we have to be on the smarter side, not the cunning side.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So while you asked me the question, what are the tactics? That was the word that you used. Okay, don't get into tactics. Fundraising, even if you are able to fool one of the investors, you'll not be able to play a long-term game. Okay, if your intention is to raise a small round and then uh, go missing somewhere, then it's a different thing. Okay, but if you are here to play a long term game, if you are here to create a business, if you are here to create a value for the society, then be true to yourself, to your team, to your stakeholders, to your customers. You'll have to be true to each and everybody, right? In one of the recent episodes, okay, on Shark Tank, we saw a genuine entrepreneur pitching for funding. Okay, and people are talking about him today. Why? Because of his
Vinita,
genuinity.
when Vinita uploaded a picture with that guy.
Absolutely, right? So he didn't use any of his tactics there. He did not manipulate things. He was so clear, crisp, honest. Absolute. Be honest. Be honest. Be honest. Right? Business is all about being honest. It's all about trust at the end of the day. Right? Somebody's giving you their money. Right? Somebody's paying you for the services. Be truthful to your investors. Be truthful to your customers. Your employees are working with you. Your co-founders are working. You need to be truthful to everybody. Right?
And I feel that's how a team would also grow.
That's how the team will look up to you, right?
Yeah, otherwise, even your team members would not, what do you call it, look up to you. They won't.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what kind of a world are we building then, right? A negative world. We don't want to build that kind of a world. Yeah?
My next question. How do you think the increase in startups and along with that funding companies in India will bring about a change in the financial situation or condition in India? Because I feel last year's Shark Tank, ever since Shark Tank was shown on the television, the like what do you call it, the rate of
The
increasing
aspiring entrepreneurs
startups
have
like
increased.
boomed
Absolutely, yes.
like anything.
Absolutely, yes. I think Shark Tank has played a very good role in aspiring entrepreneurs across the country. Okay, which is a very good thing, I would say. Right. Um, Today, entrepreneurship drive or the knack for entrepreneurship is at the highest in the country. Let me tell you that. Okay. So while I was in college, I probably did not know what a startup is, but today everybody talks about startup. Everybody wants to do a startup.
I, as a person, did not know how investing and all this works, but after Shark Tank, I feel like
Instead, Shark Tank has made our life also very easy. So earlier, when I used to say I run a company called Venture Wolf, we guys are investment bankers. वो क्या होता है? What are you guys doing, right? But it's made our life also very very easy now, right? So yeah, to come back to your question and answer your question, I think this is the best time for anybody to start their startup. Okay, if you have a good idea, work upon it, start building your team. It will not happen overnight. It will take its own time, right? Give your best shot and leave the results to the god. That's what I say, right? Because the only thing that you can do is you can give your best shot. The results are not in your hand, right? But yeah, I think this is the best time for anybody to become an entrepreneur in this country. The next 15 to 20 years are for India, right? And if you are here in India, you are at the right place. That's what I would want to say, right? And with over a period of time, the number of startups, the number of entrepreneurs, the number of funding houses, the number of angel investors, everything will increase over a period of time. And we'll see that with time. So next 10 to 15 years, it's going to be complete madness in the ecosystem.
I'm sure you would have had bits of ups and downs in your this entrepreneurship journey. How did you face them, and how did you crack the failures which came your way?
Ah, very, very brilliant question to ask this to any entrepreneur, not only me. Yeah. So each and every entrepreneur will have his own ups and downs in life. Okay. And if you ask me about my journey, uh, so I gave up my job with very less money in my bank account, but still took that risk, hoping that things will work my way. But it didn't. So I started off washing cars. I personally used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I used to get on the road and wash cars myself. Was looking for investors. found one of the investors. Incidentally, his name was also Devang. All right. He agreed to invest money in car cleaners, and he was all set, all ready to invest 50 lakh rupees in my business. I was so very happy that I'll be able to raise funding within 6 months of launching my business, and everything was working very well. Okay, so I had my paying clients, I had an investor on board who was ready to give me a check. Everything was working fine. And then one fine evening, Modi ji comes on television at 8 p.m. and says, "कल से 500 और 1000 की नोट बंद." And the demonetization happened. And I was still not aware what's going to happen to me within a couple of hours of that news being telecasted. At 11:30 at night, Devang Bhai, my investor, he gave me a call saying, "How are you, Devang?" I said, "I'm very well. I'm all set. I'm gonna bank the check tomorrow." And he says, "Don't bank the check tomorrow." And I said, "Why?" It was shocking. I can still feel the goosebumps right now when I say that, right? So, a guy who's all set to bank the check of 50 lakh rupees tomorrow morning, and the investor comes and tells you, "Don't do that." And I asked him why. He said, "Give me some time, let me figure out what needs to be done because of the demonetization thing. Okay. And then I'll come back to you within a couple of months." I got a little shaky. I didn't know what to do at that point in time. But I said, "Fair enough. I will not bank the check. It's your check." Yeah. He said, "Can you make sure you either return the check back to me or tear off the check? Whatever you think you want to do." I said, "I'll give it back to you. I don't want to tear the check. I'll give it back to you. You give it back to me whenever you feel comfortable. You want to invest in my company." Days passed, weeks passed, months passed. I kept following up with him. But then it was only apply, apply, no reply kind of a thing, all right, from his side. While I was also talking to other investors, but couldn't crack any deal at that point in time. Completely heartbroken, scattered, didn't know what to do. But over a period of time, I had made good connects with the investors. So even today with Devang Bhai, I have very good connects today. So today, I can phone him, he can phone him, he can phone me at any given point in time. Even today, he can phone me at 11:30 at night. I can phone him at 11:30 at night. So that's the kind of rapport we still share together. And I've
Even
always
after he backed out?
yes, absolutely. Instead, he is now raising funds via Venture Wolf, right? That's the position we guys are in. So
Wow,
so
that's
he,
amazing.
yeah. So he is into automated gates and interiors. Okay, they are now planning to expand their showrooms, and they are planning to get this all online. They are trying to make it an online brand now. Okay, and then they are looking to raise some big amount there. Okay, so we're still in the initial talks, but yeah, he's come back to me and said, "Devang, we need your help now to raise funds for our business now." And I said, "I'll be more than happy to do that, sir." Right? So that's what relations get you. That deal did not work out for me, but that's where it's got me today. One of my potential investor is asking help from us today to raise money in his company while he wants to expand, right? And we are very good friends, let me tell you that. Again, never ever spoil relations with anybody. That's something that I've learned in entrepreneurship, right? I might not agree with you something on the table. I will say thank you and walk out, right? Never spoil relations with anybody. Having said that, during my journey of fundraising, I started meeting a lot of investors, all right? And that's how I started building my investors database as well. And then one of my friend, I used to attend a lot of fundraising events that used to happen in the country while I was working with car cleaners. Okay, and then one of the guys said, "I am also looking to," so you make friends there, right? Don't you, when you go to the events? And then one of the guys was looking to raise funds. I said, "Probably I can help you. I know a couple of investors. I can connect you to them. देख लो आपका काम होता है तो कर लो." And then I told him, "I'll charge you a success fee. I will give you an investor, but if you crack the deal, I'll take a success fee." Now, I introduced him to one of the investor who did not invest in car cleaners, okay? But that investor invested in his business. And that was my first break at Venture Wolf. And I said, "This is a fantastic business."
You never know what can happen.
Absolutely.
Unexpected turns come up.
Absolutely. And I said, "This is a fantastic business." Car cleaners, I was not able to raise funds. I shut it down because I understood one thing. I was probably ahead of time in car cleaners, or probably that was a service that everybody wanted, but nobody wanted to pay a premium for that. right? So everybody likes to have a clean car, but if I tell you I'll charge anything over and above what you pay a local guy who's cleaning your car today, you will not pay me, right? That's what the concern is in that industry. So I shut car cleaners down slowly and smoothly. So I started giving handover to the franchisee owners that I had at that point in time, and I am not. So let me put this on camera today. I am not even taking a single penny from any of my franchisee owners today. It's all up to them. No royalty being taken. Still on the agreements, I have it. I have it in writing on agreements that they will pay me 10% royalty, but I am not taking even a single penny from any of my franchisee holders. Right. So I've given a very smooth handover to them. Now it's completely up to them how they manage it. Okay. Probably over a period of time, they've also smoothly taken the name of car cleaners outside on the service. Okay, so that they can manage it all by themselves. But that's the kind of smooth transition that we had in car cleaners. That's the first deal that we cracked in Venture Wolf. And then once Venture Wolf started, then again we saw GST, and then there was things were going smooth. We started doing a couple of investments. Investments were working fine. Investors were investing in startups, companies. I was making good investor connects. My investor database started increasing. Everything was working smooth in Venture Wolf. So I was like, wow, fantastic. Sab kuch sahi chal raha hai. And then GST came in. Fair investors again.
Downfall.
Then again investors started taking a backseat again. We'll figure out our business first. We'll see how our businesses perform, because as Venture Wolf, we don't work with small ticket size investors. Right, so our minimum ticket size for investors start at 50 lakh. Right. Yeah. So again, so we don't want to work with small ticket size investors for a single reason. It's same efforts for us to manage small investors of 2 lakh, 5 lakh each, and then get them to a 1 CR. Because for startups our minimum ticket size is 1 CR. We don't raise funds for less than 1 CR. Okay, and that's how it works with us. So GST came in. We again started seeing a plateau out for us. Then again things started over a period of time. Then things started getting smooth. Okay, so things started getting smooth again, and then COVID came in.
A very bad period for all the business owners, investors, whatever business you call. That survival period could have been like very difficult for everybody out there.
Absolutely. So for Venture Wolf, our investment business went on a standstill. A lot of our investors backed out again on the deals. I even had an instance where one of the investors told me, same situation what happened with me during the demonetization thing. One of the investors said, I have given a check to one of your startups. I want you to go and give me the check back. And then I had to talk to and it was very, I didn't know how to convey this to the startups, but somehow I had to, because it was my duty to get the check back to the investor. I spoke to the startup. That guy was like, I will commit suicide.
This happened amid the pandemic.
Yeah, so while the lockdown started happening, right? So this guy is like, I'll have to die, I'll have to commit suicide, I don't know what I'll do without the money, I have the money, and all those kind of things. I said, that's not the way. Hold on for some time. We'll give you another investor. We'll try our level best to get you the investment. But at this point in time, it's someone's money. He doesn't want to invest in you. He doesn't have a legal liability to invest in you, does he? He doesn't, right? Let's give him his money back. Let's give him his check back. Or best option is he can do a stop check at any point in time. And then it will all be in a mess. We don't want to do that, right? Finally got the check back, gave it back to the investor. But during COVID, one good thing happened with Venture Wolf was we changed our business completely over a period of time. So what we did was, I had my good connects in healthcare industry. I didn't even know what a PPE kit is, right? But I, along with one of my friend, we started business of PPE kit.
Wow. And PP kits were,
Yes, so that was an opportunistic business, I would say, for me. Okay.
and that's very smart of you
So we
to
didn't know.
start a business of PP
Absolutely.
kits.
So in the news every day we used to see there's a shortage of PPE kit in India. These many numbers of PPE kits are less in India across the globe. And I said, this is a huge opportunity. How do we fulfill this?
And that's how people learn. You need to know how to learn. You have to be spontaneous.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
don't have to be lazy. बोलते हैं ना, जब लक्ष्मी आती है तब नहाने नहीं जाते,
Perfect.
ले लेते हैं.
Perfect.
That's what you did, and that's what everybody should be doing.
Perfect. Absolutely. So I, along with one of my friend, we started a business of PPE kit. Did fantastically well there. Okay, so none of us knew the definition of a PPE kit, but we still manufactured PPE kits. So all the factories of the tailors, your jeans walas and your t-shirt makers were all shut down. We caught hold of one of the tailor. He couldn't make a proper PPE kit. We got hold of another one. We got a few samples from someone else. We figured out somehow what a PPE kit is and how to make a PPE kit. And then I had my connects in the healthcare industry. I started shooting out emailers, your text messages saying we have the PPE kits ready. Now the point is we had huge orders, but we didn't have the money to fulfill the orders. What to do? Okay. So what we said was we'll take 50% as advance. Okay. So you give me 50% advance, someone else gives me 50% advance, third guy gives me 50% advance, fourth guy gives me 50% advance. Right. Now if I have advance from 4 people, my work for 2 people is done. Right. That way we started getting money and we started rotating our money, and that's how the business started in Venture World.
And that's what you would recommend for entrepreneurs out there, that
Think
be
out of the box.
opportunistic.
Think out of the box. Somewhere you'll have to figure it out. We didn't have the money. We didn't know what the PPE kit is, but still we managed that business. We did very good in that business, and we made good money. We made fantastic money rather. All right. So yeah. So ups and downs will come in life. Things will keep changing. The world has plenty of opportunities for you. You need to have that eye of detail how to pick those opportunities up. Yeah. द्रोणाचार्य अगर आपको अर्जुन नहीं बनाते तो आपको एकलव्य बनना जरूरी है ना? That's how I put it. Right?
My last question.
Again, so before you ask the last question, just to sum up that, while people tell me today, Devang, you are successful, you've achieved good things in life, they've seen only the good side of my success. मेरे पैरों में कितने छाले हैं वो दुनिया ने नहीं देखे हैं अभी भी, right? So all the absolutely.
The grass is always greener on the other side, is what you are saying, I feel.
Absolutely.
So, what would be your final remark and message for the youth of this country? It will be the face of this country after what? 5 years? 7 years?
So for the youth of the country like you guys, okay, the time is yours.
Yes.
The time is on your side. The world is yours. You are at the right place at the right time. Make the best use of it. You have a segment of people who have the expertise, who have the knowledge. Take the knowledge from these guys, put your energy into play, come up with a product that the world needs, and next 10 to 15 years it's gonna be India, tuck, 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 right? So make the best use of it. Right? Brilliant, great. Thank you. Was a pleasure talking to you. Thanks
This
for
was
inviting me
so
over.
enlightening.
Thanks a lot.
It was lovely talking to you, sir.
My pleasure. I enjoyed as well. Thank you.
We wish you and Venture Wolf a very all the best. Um, I hope you keep creating entrepreneurs out there. You keep guiding them. You keep giving India and its entrepreneurs big names.
We'll try our level best. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Thanks. Thank you.
So that was about Mr. Devang Raja. To learn more about entrepreneurship and how to succeed in this field, please stay tuned on INNO-VISION by IEC. Thank you.